RETA, they get the win of that map of Haven with a 13-9. Welcome back, everybody. We just saw a beginning with All Knights starting strong, Dante going off, getting those kills with the Neon, but then a complete shutdown on the second half as RETA went on that defensive side, Roy. And All Knights, it seems like they could not adapt in time.
Yeah, I feel like in the first half, they had a really clear game plan. Flood sites, don't allow RETA to turtle on the sites with their double controller composition. It felt like the identity was really clear on their defense side, but as soon as they got on their attack side, it really did not feel like they had a great read as to what RETA wanted to do.
It seems like it was kind of the opposite of what they were talking about on starting strong, and now you have that for All Knights, where yeah, sure, you're starting strong, but then what? Are you able to close it out on the attacking side, where you try to allow Dante to be in these great positions, but it was just not possible. There were some plans A, B, and C coming through for the side of RETA to shut Dante down, and this is something that Maurice talked about before, Emily. So it's all working out for this side of RETA.
And in the beginning, it really was looking more in favor of All Knights. Both teams had really good defense sides, I thought. All Knights in the beginning was denying garage control, and then it just looked like they had a lot of synergy, I guess you can say. I felt like in the beginning, RETA wasn't really forcing All Knights to use their util, so they were able to retake when they wanted to. But once they swapped over to their defense side, it was multi-kills happening from multiple players, and they were just really finding the groove, I think, and getting warmed up. So they looked a lot stronger, and they just took it away once they swapped over to defense.
And I feel like one thing that RETA was doing really, really well on their defense side was getting the op value. It really did not feel like All Knights had a clear idea as how they wanted to minimize the op sight lines, which really allowed RETA to have a massive advantage on their defense side. And another thing that RETA did extremely well as well on their defense is they did a pretty solid job at constantly punishing the map. Wherever All Knights went, RETA was on their flank. They were constantly collapsing on their space. At no point did it feel like All Knights was in full control of the forward space and the backward space. And I think that's a key area that RETA did extremely well with their composition.
And looking at the scores that we see here, Dante went, even though that they lost, he went 20-16. When All Knights didn't have util, Dante was the util. He was making RETA's crosshair placements be all messed up and getting the ground. But like I said, once RETA swapped to the defense side, Soother did a really good job on Viper with the highest stats for the team, 19 and 14. And I feel like every player shined in their own way. Nobody did not do their job, and that's all you can really ask for in your team.
You can tell that RETA has been really prepping for this map of Haven. We saw them not look too good in one of those instances, but ever since they've been looking good and consistent, especially for this match today. When you're playing against Neon, when you're playing against that Dante Deus, that is so strong and that everybody's talking about, you see how they have the understanding of we cannot allow this Neon to take as much space as he wants. We need to slow it down. We need to take the space ourselves, and that is what the understanding that Woken and the rest of RETA is doing so well. And now we're approaching a map that, very interesting enough, we just realized nobody has played Ascent in this tournament so far. We're going to see it for the first time right now, and I'm wondering how this is going to play out. If none of the teams have played it, is RETA and All Knights, they haven't played it, Roy. I don't know if this is a good opportunity to bring these new slight things new, as we've seen, for example, that Deadlock that All Knights have already played on Bind.
Yeah, there definitely has been some meta developments that have happened in the past few months that I think either team could adopt. But one thing that I'm like kind of on my mind right now is the fact that Haven is such a strong mid-round map, but so is Ascent. Ascent requires a lot of very strong mid-rounding, especially on the attack side, and it really did not feel like All Knights was doing an amazing job at that on the Haven side. It kind of felt like they were on this like pigeonhole playstyle where they were taking space and then waiting for their cooldowns and then hitting sites. Like there wasn't really a layer of depth that was happening on that map that I'd like to see. And going into Ascent, a map that requires a lot of mid-rounding and a lot of protocoling, I'm a little bit nervous here for the All Knight side.
There's a chance here. There's a possibility. I mean, that first map of Haven, that was their map pick, but it was the same case yesterday. So they've been in these scenarios where they go into their map pick, they don't win it, and they're able to take away the enemy's map pick. Yeah, that is the Valorant classic for sure. There's a chance that they can do it again, but it's an unknown map for both of the teams, where I would love to see that creativity coming through. We've seen it for All Knights already, as we mentioned on Bind, and there's a chance that we get to see it again. And also, just as a reminder for everybody, that there's a giveaway going on. You can get one of those black light chairs if you scan that QR code or you check that pin message in the chat to see how we can get one of those chairs. And now that we go back into that conversation between these two teams, and what are the chances, Emily, that we see something new from them? Or are you expecting maybe that standard composition that we're used to seeing for so long?
I think Roy has a point. They had plenty of time to adjust and change their comms, so I think we might actually see a deadlock. And the last time that these two teams went head-to-head on Ascent, I just want everyone to know that it was won by RETA, and they won 13-10, so it was very close. And so, like you said, they're probably feeling really down right now all night, so I'm a little worried because they lost their map pick and they had such a good start. So it kind of just all comes down to the mindsets. Can the in-game leader snap out his teammates that aren't as experienced to move on and just look at the task ahead on Ascent? But I feel like we might see a different agent pool. In fact, I hope we do, because that would be really exciting.
Yeah, that's what I'm really hoping for. Last time, as you mentioned, when they were playing it in that grand finals for Latin America, it was a similar scenario where it was a back and forth in that first half, as we saw on Ascent. But then that second half on the defense, it was all domination. But RETA, a bunch of rounds in a row, I believe it was 6 or 7 rounds in a row that they were able to get Roy. So that is something that all nights they've been honest, they've been working on trying to fix and trying to get better at is how they're going to close out these maps when they start with a strong advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to kind of steer the conversation to the fact that we haven't really seen Dante opt that much. I think we've only seen it really on Abyss. But this is a type of map that you're going to require a lot of creativity with the op, and that's something that Snauzine has shown he has. He's been getting immense value with the op whenever he pulls it out on the defense side. He's kind of been picking away at All Knights' plans and kind of sort of disrupting their mid-round flow and their kind of their calling style. So I think that is one thing that we will have to see Dante step up on, is how can he be that force that is not just rifling, but he has to be able to op on a map like Ascent, especially when you're on the jet.
I like that you bring that point too, because that's something that we've seen for a lot of the players. And even think about something that I saw recently. A lot of people are comparing Dante to what Kesnet is for the Latin American scene for the tier 1. And that is something that actually happens to Kesnet, where he's amazing with the rifle. But when he has to go with the operator, it seems like it's something that's yet to be improved and tested for Dante. So I'm very excited to see how if he's able to perform like this. And it would not be the first time that he's put to the test in a situation like this, in a high pressure situation, Emily, because we already saw that race being played for the first time by him on Vine. And I mean, that would also be on the horizon if we go to the third map.
Yeah, these players have such a bright future ahead of them. I'm very confident in that, and I just see how passionate they are, and they're just so incredibly skillful. I mean, this is a lot of pressure, you know, and I just feel like they're doing such an incredible job already. And All Knights, though, they're looking very coordinated on their retakes. I just feel like RETA had more of a better read on them when they moved on further into the tournament. But also on RETA, I feel like Delzik is a player who day 1 didn't perform that well, but as days keep going on further and further, he keeps improving, and he is showing it today.
Well, let's jump into the Black Light Agent Select. Let's find out if the compositions are going to look different at all on this map of Ascent, or we might be seeing the same over again. And guess what? It's going to be the same, but something that has to be mentioned, though, is that Tinchop, last time that he played this map in the grand finals, he was playing the Cypher. And yeah, like you said, Roy, now he's going into the Killjuice. So mirror match with the Killjuice. Yeah,
I mean, this map is extremely tame at this point, right? I think that's probably the reason why a lot of these teams have sort of avoided changes. It's going to be a completely cookie cutter style, and it's going to come down to individual performance and team calling.
Excited to see the best, or the first ever map of Ascent being played on Ascension. Let's find out who gets the win. Is it going to be RETA or is it going to be All Knights? Let's find out with your casters, it's Vans and Gompers.
Listen, if RETA are practicing how to secure the game, how to finish off the game, how not to let it slip, I think they're doing a good job so far, Vansili. They performed immaculately going onto the defensive side on Haven. Now, obviously, we're going over to Ascent.
Yeah, we definitely started the storyline saying if it wasn't for Nagsat getting a couple of clutches, this could have been a more one-sided victory for All Knights on that first map, but definitely proving me wrong on how RETA played the defensive side pristinely and being able to run away here with that first map. But second map, as mentioned before here on that desk, Tinshov going into the Killjoy now, and he was actually the one opting for the team at some point, and they're using Dante to push forward like this, and it's a bloodbath.
Already off the rip too, definitely feels good, but a huge aggression moving forward for the defense. Could this work out? Maybe so. Already 20 health left on Delzik. Nagsat not looking too good either. And the spike is there, so they do have control over the situation right now for AK. They don't know Snowzin's there for a possible flank.
Important. Right now, both of the utility being recalled by Tinshov, so you got to wait another 13, 15 seconds before the utility could come up. So I love that they flip around the map. They take control here of that spike, and then they'll leverage the util to get info, and they'll come down once again to trade off the hits. Grouped up are RETA, 3 of them moving in towards the middle, but they're not going to activate yet. They're waiting for this whole flank to happen from Nagsat all the way out towards the spawn, and it's actually being watched. I love this. Turret alarm bot on one side, and the 1v1 towards the spawn, and it's spotted.
At least now everybody's not necessarily too covered here. Maybe the flank could help, but of course, Noise already heard. They know that there's the possibility of collecting
we're scared.
Everything up. There's no util. And 30 seconds left. Are they just allowing this to happen?
Somehow they think that we're going to pick up the spike and rotate over to Catwalk to A site. So now all 3 of them are spread across the map. Instead of being grouped up and playing for trades, they tried to go for their hero play, but there's still 20 seconds left while RETA stayed as a death ball.
And they have
that,
control.
Unfortunately, was not a good mid-rounding for AK.
They had the spike. They had everything set for them at this moment. And it's so surprising that they would have rather again moved out, maybe collected a little bit more info, but at the same time, they had everything they needed right there. Delzik, maybe this is the play. I mean, player could definitely make something happen, but it's already a 3K there from Snowzin, and you're messed up. Like, how can you recover? You can't.
No, it's a 4 versus 1 for every single one of these fights in the post plan. Or even before they even planted. Because you had Sabanto playing towards the market, getting caught off, had no smokes to block off the B main to actually try to slow things down. And when the turret spotted everything towards the A link, you would think there that they would collapse back from at least a crossfire setup from the shed into the B site from the side of AK, but they just gave back all the space, the spike. That's just unfortunate. That is playing to lose at this point and not playing like the confident All Knights that we've seen going into this event.
Unfortunate. Wrong play. I mean, I guess they had the right intentions, but fighting for the spike would have been the best decision. Will they recover, though? Crosshold does look nice. The drill makes it quite difficult. They do turn this back around. Zabaldo with the right clicks does find one, but at the end of the day, it is RETA that does have the gun advantage.
Hell advantage, at least for AK, though.
Yeah.
Oh, that could have been a nice little trade towards the end here and winnable for Dante, because everybody else is pretty low on HP. Good damage, at least. They went for the stack towards the B site. It's where RETA was going in the first place. They even gave an early tell that they were going to pivot very quickly towards the B main from that early pop flash that was being thrown by Suther towards the corner. But that said, better weaponry that you had, but we're in a similar scenario of what happened on Haven before, where you're doing a lot of damage, you're forcing a lot of buys. The bonus is not going to necessarily, be the best for the attacking side, especially when they didn't get a plant in that second round. But yeah, you're still getting 3,000 credits for the win no matter what, but you're playing the long game pretty much. You're seeing that the low buy that they have or the bonus that they have, a couple of them are still on small fields. They have a Phantom at best, only in the hands of Snowzin. You're hoping to trade off here with the Bulldog and Guardian, because all of them are grouped up towards an A-side hit.
Out and all the way over towards the B side. Sabanto, though, is holding on pretty tremendously. Snowzin gets shut down, and the moment that entry tries to make its way, and it's Dante to make another play. So AK, they could be back in it. Of course, shots, just missing out on itself. So that's very, very unfortunate. RETA, they can come back again within the next round, but this is a good one. They did hold on very, very nicely here.
Yeah, very good plays here by both of the teams once again, behind the backs of the initiators, actually. turret is the first contact, and here's a swing on 4 players, and Ascent is like, okay, I'm gonna rethink this peak. There was way too many players out there that are collapsing at that spot, pretty much like I like to call it that 100 Thieves stack that we saw on their ecos in the past here on Ascent. That said, though, it's Naxxet maybe even trying to throw away his gun and not allowing any upgrades or trying to make it expensive, rather. This is still a buy that's coming out here for AK. So if you actually get some body shots here with the Guardian, you can make it expensive in the long run for your side. But I like it. We run across the map, we focus on the orbs, and then we're going to throw away our body, which is, I'm okay with it for sure. A nice hold towards the end, though, from All Knights. And like I said, it's both initiators on both ends that played actually a very good job to fight towards the A main control. Those top flashes was actually really nice in combination with Maurice's dart to actually get that ping onto Sabanto in the back of the site, potentially giving an opening for Snow to get a pick. But unfortunately just lost his duel, and that made it a lot easier here for All Knights to anchor up here towards the A site.
Valiant effort. Of course, bonus round taken away from the side of RETA, but they're keeping their cool. They're keeping it collected. You can definitely see there isn't too much struggle within the game. They know what they're doing, especially with the orb collections that are coming through from Naxxet. They're preparing for something later on throughout this half. Of course, now we start into the next one. Nice destroy.
And nice on both ends, too. That's not going to give too much pain towards the tree. So right now, Roy talked about it, a lot of mid-rounding around this map. So if you don't actually spot anybody on tree, they are actually are turtled up a little bit more towards the A site, giving a little bit more free space towards middle, and it allows for you to maybe have a late lurk back towards the middle side. But you're seeing the pings coming through. They're like, okay, well, right now we want to fake that we're actually working here towards a catwalk push. They smoke towards M1 and they rotate all the way back towards the spawn, just in case there was a push from All Knights towards middle, where they wouldn't be able to really get that information the first price to re-clear. So now off the KOL, trying to move through.
Oh, and this is perfect. Pinch off. Hiding in the corner as the sentry comes in, but there's information given away. They know there's 2 players watching, but you can't do this cross. This cross is absolutely difficult to get past. Yeah, and it's a round run from AK, just based off of the placement of these players alone.
Yeah, and the mid-rounding there, unfortunately, didn't really give too much information for RETA's side. I talked about that smoke that you're trying to throw at M1, but you didn't actually add any type of pressure towards catwalk. No pressure back towards A main, so you don't really know where the rotate's going to be. And now you're gambling. Is it going to be a 3-player stack or a 2-player stack towards either A or B? You're just going to try to guess it out here with the KO ult. And I would assume it would have to be a KO and a jet moving in first. But the crossfire setup that you have around an Odin doesn't give you too much of an opportunity to really get that space in the first place on your gamble around the KO ult. So RETA forced to save in this round. Bladestorm, the best weapon, taking control for a split towards the B site.
Die.
Oh, and that's so good. They watch out on the flank. Information's given so quickly. I'm loving the response as well. That's unfortunate, though. Nobody was there to really get any potential for the refrag, but Adverso so much better when it comes down to who can do what. And the fight won out by AK all along. The Odin is finally making things work.
But the middle fight was actually quite important for RETA. They did a great job for Adverso just to confidently push inside the smoke towards the B main and get those 2 picks, but everything else happening towards this mid take. Look at the utility once again being thrown that assists for all these trades happening towards the mid side. You actually drop 3 players in the process of your much lower buy. Remember, the best thing that they had was a Bladestorm in the hands of Snow, and around that was classics, couple of pistols, and utility that really allowed for you to get 3 kills on top of that. You're going to take it any day. Again, playing another long run in terms of keeping the economy low. It's always going to be very important when you're in these scenarios as that team that has that less economy. Even if you lose a round and your opponents are winning 3K by defeating you in that round, by forcing them to continue to buy and buy and buy again, at some point, you're going to call that swing round. And this is what the swing round is. And then it allows for you to break their econ and maybe steamroll a little bit more rounds if you're managing your ult economy well on top of that. So again, this is going to be a very close game in the very beginning from the looks of it, at least to start, as we saw in both maps. But this is still backs against the wall now for All Knights, who are still looking pretty good though for a run to make it into the playoffs. Yeah. You definitely wanted more here on the RETA side, especially with a slow start that you had here against 2G and day number 1.
I think it's a better recovery as well from that fumble that we saw in the first round, but it's good. It's good keeping the mental intact. I think most definitely in this moment, I don't really see any fear from RETA. If anything, I seek more I'm retiring. I'm doing that next time I go on camp, but I think overall, for this match in particular, I'm more surprised at the common collectiveness of RETA, regardless of this big comeback that AK are making. I think they know they can run with this, and they have before. So I think just laying in that comfort is definitely leading them a bit higher than the rest. This is like a jawline competition right now.
Yeah. I mean, I'll take it, man. That was a nice little look there by Adversa when he did it, but. No, I do agree with you. It does look like it looks like on paper right now, or even witnessing the first map, an easy game for RETA so far. Again, going to what we were talking about, moving into the break time between the maps, and what Roy was even underlining and splitting up is how one-dimensional it kind of was here for All Knights, where they didn't really mid-round to break util work across the map. So RETA, all they need to do is just stay there, stay put, and win the rounds on the defensive side. And that's going to be the issue now for All Knights once they take the attacker side, especially on a map like Ascent. And that you're hoping here that, or the mid-rounding is going to be super important for you in order to get some rounds on the attack. Because if not, this is definitely going to be back into the true Ascent of how one-sided it could be on defense if you're not forcing these rotates. Trying to do so, at least in this round for RETA on the attack. Look at that default. Couple of smokes trying to fight back, pull towards the catwalk, stopped by a knife. So it's going to be a fight inside the smoke potentially. But it's really pulling rotations across, but towards the right place here. Look at Dante moving here towards B main with the op and looking to swing off the turret.
They had the right idea. I did like it, right? Distractions all across the map. Maybe seeing if they can isolate the fight, but that's a huge shot from Dante, just eliminating Maurice from any source of information on the attack. So now they have to play off whatever they have left. And at this point, I mean, it is a lot. Lockdown there, settle down on B, so the A site, yeah, looking a little bit more attractive.
Dangerous though. So the lockdown towards the A side where you're isolated.
Spike down A.
Already shots going in, and it is going to be Snowsin. That really does eliminate. Delsic is there alongside as well, and the A site completely covered. That lockdown on B was a risky fact, but
Spike planted.
All in all, it really was the fights that did get lost out here.
Yeah. 1 versus 2 though, it's Dante, so I'm not gonna write it off yet for RETA win. Dante switched over to a Vandal on a rotate as well in the crossfire setup for RETA towards Jenny and Spawn. Or Hell, rather.
Looking along. Penty snows in. Actually, maybe not. Yeah, shots already made, and they know that Delsic's in the smoke. Fight picked out the wrong one. 3-3 settled across the board. Yeah, RETA's back.
Yeah. Oh, one good thing though is, you know, Roy was saying that Dante wasn't opping much already. As soon as they have an opportunity for All Knights to pull out an op, they do so, and they manage to get the first blood out of it. But this time, it's the mid-rounding that doesn't work out for AK on the defensive side. I like the lockdown idea, but you still kept 3 players inside the B site, afraid of an actual re-hit towards B main. So even then, you had Dante forced to play a little bit further back in case they're trying to rush through within the timing of the lockdown. We'll hold that thought a bit though. We do have a fast hit from RETA towards this A site.
Going in for it, honestly. The kill there, huge Hunter's Fury. That is absolutely amazing. Maurice literally opened up the site flawlessly for this team. Of course, now Office not going to be too easy to settle with for the retake, but the location revealed, and they know majority, or at least settled up on top here.
Retake though does get information that Delsic's playing towards Hell. It does get the wall bang, so this is a great start for a retake. Lockdown may have to be used inside this site.
Can't use that yet. Turn out.
Good spot though. Adverso, yeah, okay, they do have the Soden, but time is really ticking. You still have the odds settled down. Nags it did eliminate one. That's going to be much more harder. Blade Storm down, and the ultimate gone. Now maybe could be the time to make something settle with, but it's not going to be easy. 23 health left. It's already done with.
Very hard to do here to retake the site when You're getting caught towards hell. It was such a fast hit, and this is his second time there. That continues the point that I was trying to say on that previous round. They're playing a little bit too separated inside this A site where they can't, one, support each other for a crossfire to play the one and done, or two, to play in a position where they could actually fall back and play a flood retake as a team. That last round where they tried to throw a Hunter Sphere on the defensive side off the lockdown to help out towards the A site, instead of double pushing towards A main, they tried to hold door, they tried to hold dice, not in positions to go for immediate trades. And they pay the price, and RETA's identifying this weakness towards the A site that they want to punish. For more control, for map control, but it's a triple swing on an eco.
A big start. Actually eliminating whoever's in line. So space was created just a little bit for RETA to take. At this point, they fought that battle, now knowing possible rotation coming up towards mid. Naxit looking for an isolation up here, but is it gonna come in easy? Question is.
At least for RETA now, it's continuing this map control and maybe trying to get the contact play back into the side, especially now that the knife missed. So you could actually start moving forward, maybe even have Maurice go for a drone just to make sure, because you know you are playing against an eco. You want to hopefully scan some players across. So you spot the Silva. You haven't really seen much towards the main, and Eco gets a nice pick, though, onto Delzik. That's no smokes on an execution. A 1v1 battle towards B main.
30 seconds
Beautiful.
left.
This might be the turning point now for AK with the lure buy. A 4 versus 2, 3 players stack inside the site, and now you're just delaying. He's basically going to watch the B main. As soon as he sees something, he's going to pop the Nano Swarm and then fall back and play in the back of the site. And RETA understands this. Time of the essence. They're just going to fall back and save their weapons. It ends up being a beautiful eco in the end from just nice pop shots coming out from some duels that were lost here by RETA.
Thrifty.
Huge Thrifty round. A Blacklight Thrifty. Kind of walk away from this moment, too. But he's just like, nah, I'm definitely not picking a fight with anyone on that side of the team. But yeah, it's a huge pickup, honestly, from AK. Wasn't necessarily expecting that rep start. Mental regained. Now they really have to look forward to is the fact that they did come to this point.
Now, at least on a couple of rounds that we've seen so far, is the tempos that you currently have on the re-hits or the mid-rounding for RETA is giving up middle a lot. They're rotating back towards the spawn. They go towards the extremities to try to gain space, but they don't have too much mid-rounding towards middle. So all Knights are fairly comfortable playing a little bit more passively towards the mid side. And look at this double take towards main. It started things off with the turret's peak and potentially even an Odin spray and Tinchoff with the Vandal. Because as it slows down a bit, one way is being thrown on top of that by Sabanto. This is actually all very good so far on the defensive side, and praise to also Sabanto and Delzik on the amount of one ways they've been playing from the first map to the second one to really not force some utility out on either end to gain map control. It gives you a lot less to work with on the site hits.
Oh, good strat though. Actually, maybe not. Averso making a lot of noise over towards B with the Odin. I mean, at this point, some of the damage remains other lit ever so slightly, but now comes the lockdown. This is exactly what RETA were trying to do from the start, just finding the correct timing and pushing these players back out. So that's 2 players now gone out of the B side.
There's that Nano 2. Nice little lineups that pushes the far back line so you can't even get the spray with the Odin. And I love the timing that RETA goes for the push inside that site. There was still 4 seconds left before Adverso had a recon dart, so they used that window so that they cannot get pinged running in through the lockdown and play a 5v5 pulse plan.
Knock that down. This is such a good flank coming through from Snowsin. Doesn't know Sabando's there. All Knights, they're getting better at now, kind of picking up like some sort of retaliation whenever plans do arise on the side of RETA, but the op is literally poking out so far deep into it. Luckily enough, doesn't go down, so Dante does have some time. They're gonna just relax as of right now, but it's not gonna be easy. RETA now fighting back, but a 1v2 situation. Do have 10 players left in the tank right now that you can deal with. 5 now slightly diminishing, and it's a simple clutch from Naxit that leaves this game settled.
And you even saw Dante. He just stopped. After his teammate died, he just stopped. Didn't even try to go for a kill to try to at least build up an ult orb. in that 1v1 fight right over. I guess he did. He missed a shot. There you go. That's why. And then he just gave up. But that's still, no matter what, Nagset clutching a 1 versus 2. The Black Light clutch, the Zippo clutch to be able to win that round once again. And allowing RETA to just continuously get these rounds where they shouldn't be able to take. Because I love at least that op that we saw for the longest time that Soother was trying to watch here towards that spawn. That was actually a nice little bait by Dante. I'm pretty sure they did that on purpose to keep the gun out so that they could try to bait out some spray so that Tinchoff could swing out for the frag. And instead, he stayed patient at least, but when they actually came out finally, he went for a shot and the result was still the same. So I like that play that we saw from All Knights to kick off at least a retake, but it was very slow, which forced the hand of them to make these mistakes happen on that 2 versus 1 against Nagset. So that's definitely going to call for a pause now for All Knights. I think at this point, I still think that they're playing a pretty decent first moment here of their defensive side. It's just now what they were so good at with the flood retakes was off the back of Neon's utility, but now when you're trying to play a retake with an op in your hands, and you're not being successful on the reads that you're trying to fight against your opponents, then that's where it gets very difficult for you, where Dante has to probably do some sort of a Bogdan's Law so that he could actually get a Vandal and start activating on the retakes for the team. But overall, I think that you're seeing the utility being used on the attack side for RETA is very, very good to really push out the anchors out of their positions on this B side to get these hits. So I guess exploiting both weaknesses. I talked about weaknesses that we saw from All Knights on the A side, and now on the B side, just not necessarily a weakness, but just good utility. So the attack side looks very good for RETA so far.
There's no doubt about it either. I mean, they've dealt with the punches right now, getting very, very accustomed and into reading what All Knights is throwing at them. It's a very back and forth, though. It's so difficult, too, because it feels like, I don't even know, at this point, like a lot of the fights that should be angled towards RETA, right? With a really good flank coming along, then it just starts to crumble. So
yeah,
I think everyone's definitely on their A game here.
Right now, at least they're doing a great job for All Knights to get active information and fight towards B main, because it's a simple turret and Odin spray that contains it for a bit. Then they're trying to play a little bit turtled up towards this A site, or even towards Catwalk, where they have zero information of where mid control could be, or where even any type of extremity fight could be, or the positioning at all from where RETA currently sets up. So I feel that you might have to look to be slightly more proactive coming out of this technical pause, where you might want to try to leverage that op from Dante that you're rushing to go for early picks from Catwalk into B-Link, or just try to anchor up towards middle to look up towards that line. Because now when you're starting to probe towards the middle, and realizing that RETA doesn't really take too much control of middle into these early rounds, or maybe even towards the mid-rounding, then it gives yourself a chance to have some faster rotates as a team. It only happened maybe like, 1 or 2 rounds where you saw RETA work up towards Catwalk at the very beginning, but nonetheless, it still stays very passive when that happens, where you're not really trying to find the other type of positions that you can try to exploit. And you're starting this round with another Thrifty, and they've been good in these moments, at least for AK, of stacking towards the right side.
Dude, already starting off with 2 suppressions is huge as well. They know that normally, typically on the B side, when I do like to have Tinchoff waiting alongside, moving into this 3-player advantage left onto the site, though everybody else moving in, and it's going to be a group push starting. Yeah, with pistols left inside of your pockets. Economy not looking good. AK now trying to fight back for something, but yeah, shut down immediately.
Yep. One little bit of armor that has to be repurchased, though, for Marie's Nagset and for Delzik. And you saw at the end of that round, Nico Machine still had 3,800 credits. So I don't know if he fully saved here, so they could actually buy an operator for Dante in the next round. And then you're maybe going to start seeing Dante activate a little bit more outside of B main and trying to work out more towards the middle. So there's the up that comes through. He's playing it towards the A main to start things off. At least they're trying to find something aggressive so far. It's a bait and switch. Trying to knife first and double up the control and play a passive angle hole. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. If you're looking at it so far, The turret stays active for information towards B main, and then you're trying to collapse back towards middle. So yeah, the play is there. Let's see if it works out.
Shut down. Off the rip in mid. Slow aggression moving forward. Snowzen has been caught in this position before. Might just happen again. The biggest difficulty is what is Chinchok going to do now with his 1v2 in Verso? Now blinded. Slow but quick. Moving on Delzik. And you do have a huge side take from RETA, but at the same time, I mean, in terms of utility, they're loaded compared to actually, AK is loaded compared to RETA.
100% with the amount of rounds they're currently winning so far. You're definitely going to make it hard right now for All Knights to come back here in the last 2 rounds of the half. Again, another one of those scenarios where you're trying to retake the side with Dante with a knob, has dash activated, no blades, or dash available with no blade storm. You kind of need him to, or be that bait at this point.
Yeah.
And have the other support. At least some flashes are there though from both the controller and the KO.
Another movement. Commences Delzik. Some of these players now trying to fight themselves off the site here, but the somehow no scope. Dante makes it happen. And it's not enough for AK. Too many players lost. Not enough util used in these very, very dire moments.
But that's what I'm talking about. So you have 2 players that have to stay behind because they have to pop flash with the KO flash and even a paranoia. I don't even think I saw the paranoia come out towards, maybe if it came out towards the later half or even towards the tail end, but it wasn't double flash to allow the dash to come in here from Dante. And not only that, he dashes into the site with the op. So what does he do now in the back of the site? He has to play a right-click classic to try to fight back against 2 guys in garage. So there's definitely not as clean in the retakes right now for All Knights. Is what we coined them so good for when they play a Neon composition. Because also when you're playing a Neon composition or when you're seeing Dante playing a Neon, he's not opping that much. So you are playing a map where an op is so good here on a map like Ascent, but you're also playing it not to a way that you're able to maximize the retakes here as a team.
And they threw that down. Dude, and this is such good early information, but it's like, okay, now there's no action upon it. You can see a slight rotation coming up with Nika Machine now trying to help out a possible push from Sabando, but at the same time, nothing. The silence is deafening.
And look at how they play now. It's turtled up. There's no more alarm bot. There's no more turret. You have to be reactive. And if you're good here for RETA and you're able to set up some sort of a pop flash or something like that, or at least set up some sort of rotation, and it seems to be towards this market to start. And now you activate back towards the A site, you split towards the A site, and look who's left. Only 1 player. The other ones are forced to rotate, still too far behind, but it's a judge. It's a judge.
Oh, that's so good! I thought it would work out for a second. Snow isn't coming in quick, but Sabando even quicker.
1 enemy remaining.
You know, Hunter's Fury is there, but it's not going to be enough to really keep this team at bay. The blacklight flawless from All Knights to continue this half, but at the same time now we're switching over, so I mean, the difference could occur. We could see a possible comeback from All Knights. This could be the moment for All Knights to really take it back on the attack and allow their duelist Dante to thrive.
Yeah. And I forgot we are watching Valorant right now, so you know, sometimes we just anchor one spot with a judge. It's good enough. but nonetheless, if it wasn't for Sabanto, if that dash was so good that he's not able to catch up here with the judge to try to get the pick, then that would have been pretty much a 2v1 towards the tree, a 3v1 towards the A site. So they're still split off across. So a great job at least, though, for RETA in that round to really thin out the defensive line by activating in the mid-rounding around this map of Ascent, something that you have to do on a map like Ascent because it's been overplayed with this composition since the dawn of time. And again, it comes down to individual plays that is able to keep this game close, at least here between All Knights and RETA in the second map. But you mentioned it, Gomps, an opportunity now for the attacking side of All Knights, but this is that big test. Something that Roy and I agreed to, that they haven't been mid-routing well enough here on that first map, that you're hoping that they're able to do something here in this line and not rinse and repeat a hit. Not a push and go, touch and go, touch and go every time towards one site that runs into a crossfire.
This is probably the... Honestly, now, I feel like with a refresh to like side switching. There is a bit of excitement in the air, right? The possibility to rekindle some new plans, to kind of think about. It does feel like everybody is really in it right now, right? Trying to come up with the next best thing, trying to come up with the next best strategy for the pistol. Because yeah, okay, some people might think moving into the pistol, it is that 50-50 split, but you can have such good ideas to guarantee yourself a free 3, a free 2, and run away with the pistol and allow yourself to really retake your position here in the game. So I think for AK, yeah, they look excited. They're ready to get back into it. And it's as serious as ever to keep this position. So for both sides, very, very different vibes, but very, very similar goals.
Yeah, if anything, too, excitement definitely comes from us as spectators being able to watch this game, but definitely some stress looming for both of these teams. For All Knights, they're looking not only to get revenge against RETA, losing in a reverse sweep, against the #1 seed of RETA, but also trying to win this to be at 3-1 to almost guarantee a spot into playoffs. If they lose this one here, they're both at 2-2, and they might still let this slip. Still so much valor to be played!
That's unreal. There's absolutely no way. And already starting off with that initial 2. Okay, Nico's gone, Dante's gone. Duelist, Initiator. Adverso, the only one left available, but a Shock Dart at hand. Maybe they can use some coverage from Sabando, but they are cleared at this point. They need just at least one pick to really even somewhat settle the score. Oh no. And it just gets worse too. You walk in the smoke, you're gone. Already though, Paranoia, this works out well. RETA ready and prepared. It's just a shot with the Sheriff, and maybe just another one that can happen, but Sabando holding on for dear life, the 2v2, but RETA shut it down.
That was so clean by Nagzet to start things off here. What am I watching? Is it Meteor on a Sheriff on Ascent holding the A site? Because those are some 2 clean one-taps with the Sheriff at the very beginning. Stays alive on top of that. And that's also something that looked really good in terms of their setup. They're playing double Sheriff, 3 Ghosts, or maybe even 2 Ghosts so that the your Omen can play the Paranoia and 2 Smokes. So the composition is actually quite good. This is, I think, even a pistol that even Gen G plays, that type of buy. So you're doing a lot of good damage for the long range, which allows for you to retake a lot easier if your Sheriff players are doing a lot of damage with body shots or headshots. This time it's Nagzet with 2 kills. You're retaking a 5 versus 3 with a Paranoia available. It's a very, very clean retake to kick things off the back of Nagzet, bringing back what we praised him for back in his professional days, even playing in crew on the main stage for the VCTs. How good it was with the Jake.
Oh my gosh! Okay, well, you know what? It doesn't even matter at this point.
One enemy remaining.
They just have the weapons to do it. I have no words. This was a pretty quick and easy sweep from RETA.
Man, that always throws me off guard. I just always lose my train of thought every time I get that view from the observer. But at least we switch back into the eyes of Snowzine that has 2 very nice outlaw shots. So far, when you're looking at how the Jet has been activated from round number 1 and round number 2 on Snowzine, you're activating a Blade Storm pretty much in round number 3 or 4, making sure that if somehow your economy gets broken, you still have a safe race with the Jet Knives later on in that 3rd or 4th round of the half. So RETA's been doing a good job snowballing these first few rounds here of this map of Ascent. Well, technically on the first half. Second half still yet to be determined here if they're able to convert their votes.
Oh, large commitment. For a singular fight that doesn't necessarily go in the way of RETA, Snowzine gone. That's all. That's all there is to it. They've lost one.
Important piece too. That's loss of vision. Actually, not necessarily lost of vision. I like that Nagzet's inserted here with the Guardian. So he's going to be able to potentially surprise a player. They might not expect this if they don't clear it. They late clear it, but Nagzet was a little bit too out in the open. Understandable, he's playing a Guardian, so you're trying to make sure that you're holding the angle, but Nagzet's fighting back.
Oh my gosh! And another one, Tinchop's just kind of rolling with it at this point. Yeah, no
revealing area.
Safe for standing here from Reese. He's gonna have to try to fight this off down inside of mid. Yes, Sabando clears it up, round win. Finally down for this half for AK.
Feels like I was watching a round of TDM there. Was it? Bring it over to Casbah. Let's just see everybody fight off. But that was some clean left and right shots coming in from Pinchoff to save the round for All Knights. In the bonus round from RETA, that looks so good in the very beginning. Despite criticizing Nagzed being out in the open and getting caught, that really allowed the activation from the defensive side of Catwalk to pop flash and fight and get 2 of their own. But again, against stronger weaponry, longer range weapons with a Vandal from a Spectre, Tinchaw's able to keep that dream alive for All Knights in this second map. One-way smoke being thrown on the attack, but Snow is still taking advantage of this. He's actually leveraging the opponent's one-way smoke to try to look under it to get a pick.
Oh, the timing was so perfect, too. They just faded that out to maybe catch out how many players are there. It seems like they did listen into the possibility of 2, but drone, oh my gosh. Can't go through window.
I still like this though, because the person that broke a turret was actually Maurice that breaks it with a Vandal. And I was going to say this is actually pretty good because they might understand it's a bait and switch so that they position the op to just rewatch the angle so you work back towards middle. But we're back in the mid-rounding where they stop and go, touch and go again. The alarm bot's still up. They're about to 5-man hit into the B site. And this paranoia at least hits onto Snow.
Oh, they can get this in nice and easy too. Oh, never mind. No, Snow's in. Is watching with the off, just waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Of course, so tons and tons of util just settle down, backing them off. Now might be the time. And as they're good for one, it's over. RETA, they've taken control of the site. And now the flank as well, making everything work out into fruition. But the 1v3, the numbers diminishing. But either way, RETA, they're feeling the vibe.
Yeah, and again, this is. We're just seeing Haven all over again, right? They let themselves be known. They want to break the turret, and they just think that breaking turret on that side is, or actually, they didn't even break the turret. They got their own turret broken. Sorry, towards B main. So they still went back into the B site with no information, and they're thinking, okay, well, since we waited 30 seconds, they gotta rotate by now, right? Question mark, right? Question mark, and they just run into again, just great. Even if the off shots didn't miss, there's still great utility that delayed so much. The nanoswarms, the fragments, and allowed RETA to really rotate across. Now you just go for a one-dimensional hit, 4-1 split towards the A site on the lower buy.
Ooh, no, and everybody's just going enemy remaining. Over for them, AK looking for an easy round to just finish this off, but very, very close to a lot of lots and lots of ultimates here. So, you know, potential to bring it back, especially before that match point, I think absolutely, but that's the dire situation right now. Like, this is the moment before match point. You don't bring it back now, and congratulations on the Black Light Flawless as well, but you don't bring this back now, and it's a straight sweep 2-0 coming through from RETA.
100%. Because if you're looking at, yes, the swing rounds are there now for All Knights. They have a Hunter's Fury they could work with because Adverso died. He's already one away from a Hunter's Fury. You're getting fairly closer to other ults, so you can maybe cycle some ultimates. But now that you're trailing behind 11-6 and your objective potentially is to grab an orb to maybe get a next ult available in the next round or not, now you're going to give a tell of where your positioning is, but then you can potentially... Well, hold on. Let's hold that thought. We have a fight towards A main.
The op has been working so well, especially at pushback, but they're getting very accustomed to playing against this too. You can tell they're not stupidly opening these angles. They're really using the information that they can be given as well as the util. So all in all, I mean, Snow's definitely applying pressure just by wasting the util alone.
Yeah. Wide swing though, but all of this allows for you to insert some players on the attack side. Look at where Sabando's already at. The reclear I actually did see Nico Machine, so he's just holding it. Nice shot by Nico.
Made out though. Doesn't do too much damage. Pulse off for just a second. Souther getting ready for a possible pop flash outward, but not seeing anybody else. And this is dangerous. You play a dangerous game, you get dangerous consequences. Especially now that you're just by yourself, settled down, waiting for this peak to happen. As it erupts, though. Nobody knows anything. Good smoke. When it's over, beautiful 2K coming through from Souther. Not expected at all. Actually, just hiding in smoke. And if anything, you can tell they've made so much mental damage into the minds of AK, because now they have to force use that ultimate. for the Hunters Yuri just to try to take things back so that the economy isn't wasted, and it's done. RETA, they are bringing things to match point.
I was just about to commend how good the mid-rounding and the defaulting was there for All Knights. They got the first pick onto Catwalk, they punished an aggressive off that was trying to get some mid control, and that right there, you're trying to contact, walk into the smoke, but you're not even turning your gun away to make sure you double swing inside that smoke. So the cannon shows in, easy first blood going in for Soother. The other one is forced the hand to try to run in and go for a trade. You just swing across and you get the opportunity because you know where the other player is coming in from, and you get a 2K for Soother. He even stays alive on top of that.
Standing ahead.
That just shows, unfortunately, here an AK that fell to shambles since that loss in the first map. And now it is definitely going to be a quick 2-0 at this point. I was talking about the amount of ults that you're trying to cycle up at this point, but because you're falling behind by so much, because you're now 6 rounds behind, if you're able to survive this round here, you might even just throw all your ults into the next round just to try to keep it close. And then you're just going to end up, no matter what, with 5 chances here for RETA. And with the way that they've been currently playing, should be in a very good spot here to close out the series. Dude.
POV, you're the op. Like, what is this? This is crazy. That caught me off guard. I'm not gonna lie.
Same.
A little giggle before we see a 2-0 sweep come through, but yeah, pop flash settled Snowson. No longer able to hold some of that attention, which sucks, but that's a great approach on AK. I feel like that's something that we've been missing too. Like, why didn't we see this sooner? The quick flashes in, the quick abrupt executions, but it doesn't matter. Already reached around the back. The call doesn't come in early enough. You got 2 people watching just inside of lane. The damage done. And it's 2 players left to make a change and difference for All Knights. Will it be the time? Maybe it is. A slow retake over. We've seen All Knights do a reversal. Is it gonna happen? Maybe not this time. It's gonna be very difficult. 11 seconds left on the clock. And of course, Delzik taking in this 1v1. Super lit for Nico. Jiggle peek
Defenders win.
And that is
Big, convincing win for sure for RETA. 13-6 on that second map. Look at the confidence again. This is night and day for both of these teams. A team for All Knights that looks so strong coming into this tournament, and the opposite for RETA. But now you're in the mid of this tournament, in the group stages, where RETA turned it around, and I'm starting to see a slowdown from All Knights, where this wasn't the macro game that we were praising All Knights for. And I think it's just potentially them being too much in their heads, playing against a regional matchup, playing against a team like RETA that had their numbers throughout the whole season pretty much, and that they lost that reverse sweep in the regional finals against RETA at that point, that you almost want to prove that you are the better team, that you unfortunately are just not following the right game plan, if I could put it that way, or maybe you had some sort of game plan that unfortunately wasn't the right one because they were missing a lot of that mid-rounding.
I think as well, like in the heat of the moment, you could see there was I don't know if it was like the anger or I guess the frustration, but sometimes it felt like there was a big lack of communication from All Knights, right? Moments where you could have caught plays like just what just happened, right? Nobody should have gotten flanked from behind like that, but it felt like nobody knew anything, and I think that was the main issue. But we do have people a lot smarter than I am waiting for us on the desk, so let's hear it from the analyst desk.
A 13-6 goes the way of RETA, and they close out the series 2-0. Roy, we gotta be honest, this is not what we were expecting. Even if RETA was gonna get the win, we expected a lot more of a fight coming through on the side of All Knights, but especially into that second half and even towards the beginning, you already got the vibe there was a RETA that was gonna be dominant from beginning to end.
Yeah, I mean, this is the RETA that I was expecting to see in this tournament when it started, to be honest. They looked confident, they looked decisive, they're extremely versatile with their approach, and they have a great read on the Valorant formula. They knew exactly what they wanted to do. They knew, you know, they have like a very clear read on the meta. They kind of understand the options that All Knights had, and it really felt like they were capitalizing on all of these things simultaneously.
Yeah, like you were saying, Roy, RETA just looked so much in control almost the whole game. It was smooth sailing for them, and they just had a really strong attack side, in my opinion. And it came down to the decision making. I think we can all agree that it didn't really look like All Knights full potential today. I'm sure they're just as disappointed. We're expecting it to go the full way, and even looking at the post-plant stats that we have, RETA won all of their post-plants. I mean, how strong did they look today? They won their clutches as well, and they had more first kills. They just look so much more stronger today, Roy.
Yeah, no, exactly. So they're winning the first kills, they're winning the post plants, they're winning the clutches, they're just winning on all fronts. But I do kind of want to point out the fact that All Knights did look a little bit off in this matchup. There's just a lot of awkward micro plays being made by some players. It just felt clunky, a lot more clunky than we've seen them, and how confident they approach their other matchups. So I do have to like wonder, like, is this sort of like a mental block between the IGL, like Inverso and Muriz? Like, is there something that is holding these players back? Like, I'm not entirely sure, but this is not the All Knights that we were expecting.
We don't know for sure what was going on, but it definitely seems like, as you guys were saying, and as the casters were saying, a little bit of overthinking when it comes on to the side of All Knights, and even maybe Adverso or everybody else, a mix of everything, because you are getting these results, everybody's putting you and hyping you up so much, and then you have that kind of final test, which is, can you win against that team that beat you in the grand finals? And it seems like a little bit of overcooking, a little bit of lacking of ideas in some of the rounds, and how are they going to adapt in time to what RETA is implementing to them. And because of that, All Knights were not able to get the win. But I think for RETA, as you were saying, Roy, this is amazing, because this is the RETA that we were praising for. This is the RETA that we were all predicting towards the beginning to be one of the favorites, and have that gap between them and everybody else, at least in Latin America.
Yeah, I mean, they were the well-constructed machine, right? They're really well put together right now. They don't need an individual pop-off. I mean, look at their scores. They're all within 4 kills of each other. They're all having impact. This is the team that could contend for Ascension. This is who we wanted to see from the get-go. They said it in their promo videos as well. They were talking about, you know, they've been leveling up. They've been learning a lot about themselves. They've been shedding a lot of that pressure and that stress, and I think it's starting to show.
Another guy that I wanted to highlight for sure was Naxxet. Emily, I think he did so good, and he's been doing so good. He's been this piece that we've talked about more on the side of, oh yeah, he has a lot of experience. He's played for Crew in the past. He's played in the tier 1 level, but now he's really stepping up for the team. And I'd love to see this too, because it's something that is absolutely needed, as Roy was saying, for all the pieces to be working together, and to be only a few kills away from each other is great.
Yeah, and I bet he brings a lot to the table that we don't even see, in terms of having that experience and that confidence to bring up the level a little bit extra for his teammates that don't have as much experience as him. So he's definitely a very essential player for his team.
Well, this is everything that we have for the Latin American matchup of the day. We're going to throw it to a break. We're going to have an interview with one of the players on the side of RETA. And when we come back, we'll go into that Brazilian matchup.
I'm dinner with Elon Musk.
Probably, I would say my grandparents.
Can be dead or just people alive?
I think Michael Jordan, because I saw one document, The Last Dance. I learned a lot of that. I apply a lot of stuff on my team because he have the best mentality on the competition, I think, and I love that.
Or fun, like Speed. I feel like that guy is very like energetic for some reason. I feel like he could like, just people to hang out with.
My girlfriend, 100%. Since last year I played in LA, this year I've been in Mexico for like 6 months. So I've spent some time with her now before the tournament, but if I could have a dinner with anyone, it would be her.
Probably like a streamer I watch. Like, I don't know, like usually when I'm like at night, I enjoy just like watching streamers on my second monitor while I play. If it's not for like money and it's just like casual, like probably like someone like Cage Roll or something. Like that guy's like a league streamer and he does like watch parties and he's very like, I enjoy watching him a lot.
Dinner with anyone? Damn, that's a difficult one. I think I would go with Muhammad Ali, you know? Because like every time on TikTok or any other platform, really, it's just some crazy quotes. And he spoke in quotes. He just said quotes.
That's a hard one. I'm a psychologist, so I would say Freud. Weird guy. Yeah, weird guy. Fun to talk to.
I don't know. Maybe Neymar Jr.
If I could have dinner with anyone in the world, maybe it'd be someone like LeBron James, honestly. You know, like if I can be well connected to LeBron James and just talk to him, pick apart his mind and become like friends with him, then you never know what doors can open. And he is my favorite basketball player of all time. He is the GOAT, so I'll definitely take LeBron.
At the moment, my wife. Yeah, I'm in German right now. It's been 10 days. Sorry, it's been 10 days. So I miss her a little. Yeah.
I'd like to some athletes, some basketball players that I like I don't know to pronounce in English, like Antetokounmpo and this. I'd like to meet some of them just to know their mentality and how they face life and the sports and like this, you know.